Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Kathy Frost. She is Area Director for a name you may know, Curves. We'll meet her when we come back, so stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is Kathy Frost. She is an area director for Curves throughout Rhode Island and Connecticut, just two of the states that she represents. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Connecticut and Rhode Island, just two. You do pretty much all of New England and a little bit of New York, too,
all
correct?
All of New England and Eastern New York and Long Island.
For those who may not be familiar with the name, tell everybody what Curves is.
Curves is a facility, and we're specially designed for women, but we also now feature our Curves Complete, which involves the weight loss, it involves the meal planning, and it also involves the exercise, the strength training, which is so important. So we have it all three in one place.
You know, and that's the thing, and we were talking about this off the air a little bit. You have your, you know, when you watch TV, you see all the commercials, you have your, you know, your Weight Watchers, your Nutrisystem food plans, and then there are also a lot of commercials for, you know, gym memberships, pick your gym, but there hasn't been anything out there that really encompasses everything you need to be healthy, in shape, lose weight if you want to, and that's the fitness part and the diet part combined, correct?
Yes, Curves is the first company that's ever combined exercise along with the diet, and on top of that we also have one-on-one coaching. So we're doing a combo of, typically you have your health clubs, that sort of thing. You have your weight loss centers. Now we're going for the merging of the two.
It seems like it makes sense, and it's something, because if you are talking about being healthy, and if you were a person that had a gym membership, sure, you can go and you can work out, but once you leave that place, you could totally ruin everything that you've done in there by eating poorly after you get out of there. And diet is every bit as important, if not more important, than the actual physical exercise. Would you agree?
That's true. But then there's a lot of different types of diets. And so a lot of people do different types of diets that maybe they've read about or seen or whatever, that has never even really been truly proven or tested.
They claim it.
They claim it.
Yeah.
And that's where ours is totally different. Our weight loss program part has been researched at Baylor University and Texas A&M over the past 8 or more years. And it was so impressive that the Cleveland Clinic has joined ranks with us. They really have embraced our strength training because they know that women or men can go anywhere to get cardio. Right. You can go for a walk, but women need strength training. And if after the age of 40, you lose a half a pound of muscle a year. So between 40 and 50, you lose 5 pounds of muscle.
Right.
Doesn't sound like much, but you know, you hear all these women saying, oh, my metabolism has just gone down. And it does, because if you lose 1 pound of muscle, a pound of muscle burns off somewhere between 35 to 50 calories a day. So if you do the easy math, you know, 50 calories, lose 5 pounds, that's 250 calories. You just decreased your metabolism over 10 years because you've lost that much muscle. And the only way you can build muscle is through strength training, which means it's either going to be, you know, some sort of free weights, weight machines, or hydraulics. And in our situation, we use hydraulics because it makes it efficient. Our machines are mostly double positive, so you can work out 2 opposing muscles at the same time, biceps, triceps at the same time. So it cuts in half your time that you have to spend on machines. We do it quickly, so you also get your cardiovascular workout at the same time. So in 30 minutes in our facility, it would take you about an hour and a half in a regular facility.
I think using the hydraulics or the machines in general also cuts down on the possibility of some injuries that could occur with free weights. Free weights certainly have their uses and their positive benefits to it, but so many people, and I'm sure you know, would tend to use them incorrectly, and that causes injuries. With this, it's a little bit more forgiving, so that you automatically are using it more properly.
Right. And we also have a circuit coach on the circuit at all times helping those members, so that they're, you know, if you kind of get a little lazy, they'll be there to motivate you and encourage you. And then also all of our machines have what we call a success coach on it. It's a little computer, so each machine knows you when you get on it.
By the way, because you scan it.
You scan, you put your card in, and it knows how hard you should be working and what your range of motion is on that machine. And if you're not working as hard as you should be, it's going to be yellow, and that means work a little bit harder.
It kind of needles you a little bit.
It does. And then the beauty is when you're done, it will take and show you how each muscle performed on every machine. And then it's also going to tell you the number of calories you burned during your workout. So, you know, our first goal, depending on the person, is to get them up to 300 calories in their 30 minutes. But we have a lot of women that now, after, you know, being there for several years, can burn over 500 calories in 30 minutes. And so that's really encouraging for them too, because then they're also building the muscle at the same time.
Now, when you talk about building muscle, especially for women, there's a pretty big misconception where women are afraid of weights because they think somehow that if they do lift in any way or you do any kind of resistance training, that they're going to bulk up. And that's certainly a misnomer and certainly not true.
That is correct. It's not true. Women are not going to take and bulk up and look like a muscle man, so to speak. They will get definition, and that's what all women like. You don't want to look saggy. You want to have that definite definition, because that also tends to make you look younger, and you just have a more kindly shape.
And you feel good about yourself. There's a difference between losing weight and then losing weight and toning at the same time. Because,
Correct.
I mean, there's a big difference, really.
A huge difference. What we know from our Curves Complete program is most of the weight that women lose is fat weight. In most other programs, at least 30% of the weight they lose is lean muscle.
Yeah, you don't want that.
So no. So what we show people is that they will take and start out maybe looking like this, but on most programs they're going to end up looking like this because the weight that they lost was lean muscle. Whereas in our program, you're going to burn the fat and build the muscle, so you're going to continue to have that great shape, or you're going to develop that great shape. And that is so important. Plus, then you also have the strength, you have the energy, because when you're building muscle, you're also then taking and increasing your metabolism, so you have more energy, you feel better, you can do more.
And when you're doing the resistance training, that cranked up metabolism lasts a lot longer than if you were just doing, you know, cardio on an elliptical or something like that, so there's obviously more benefit to it this way.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, and you're going to be burning more calories throughout your day.
Now, can you talk about the history of Curves? Like, did it come about? It's for women, and you know, back in the day, your typical gym, you know, sort of had a stereotypical image of, you know, a bunch of muscle-bound guys hogging the mirror, and some women just didn't want to be a part of that, or, you know, maybe somewhat intimidated. They didn't feel like it was their scene. So did Curves fill a niche, a need for women in general?
Well, I think a lot of women in the probably the late 90s, the early 90s maybe even, Miriam Nelson had done some research up at Tufts on women and strength training, and she found that women needed to strength train, that it was a missing link in women's fitness. But strength training is not always easy. As you well know, you go to the gym, you take a lot of time, you have to hire the trainer, you have to carry your notepad or whatever. And so Gary Haven developed this program using hydraulics. He knew that he'd been in the gym business, and he knew that women didn't really always enjoy going to the big box gym. And so he's got the program set up for women with the hydraulics, because the biggest thing is time. I mean, women don't have a lot of time. They're caring for everybody. And so if you can get something down to a 30-minute slot, you can work that into your day a whole lot better than an hour and a half.
Yeah, you'd be more willing to go if you could knock out a solid workout in a half hour's time. But if you think it was going to take more time than that, or if you feel that you just didn't have time in general, you would just blow off going to work out completely. This way, you can, well, if I can do it in a half hour, okay, I'll go and do it.
Correct.
And the benefits are huge.
The benefits are huge, but the time is a big factor for most people, because it is. You can come in, you don't have to wait for a class to start. You can come in at 5 after the hour or 25 after the hour. It doesn't matter. You come in, you hop on the equipment, you do your workout, you do your stretching. We also have a stretching machine, so you don't even have to get down on the floor to stretch. You see your results on the computer, what your workout was like that day, and you're out of there.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the Cleveland certification stuff, because I think it's really important, because anybody can open a fitness place, but the backing of this, the Cleveland type certification. Talk about that a little bit more in detail.
Okay, well, the Cleveland Clinic had realized several years ago that it's important to try and get healthcare professionals more fit. And so they had looked at a lot of programs, and they really liked our workout because of the 30 minutes, and it will help improve the lean muscle mass. We have all the research from it. They looked over that. So they started to encourage their employees to go, and they would reimburse them, and they saw a huge savings on their insurances. They knew that people oftentimes needed help with weight loss. And so they looked at the research on our weight management program and loved our weight management program because it's very balanced. But they thought that the one thing that no weight loss program really has is that one-on-one personal coaching or motivation. And if we could be doing that on a routine basis, we're going to be able to help people get through the tough times when they're trying to lose weight and something goes wrong. And so they said that they would partner with us, but they wanted to make sure we brought this motivational piece to it, which we call embracing change, because change isn't always easy.
No.
And so, so they developed a program for all Curves owners and our employees to take and become what we call Cleveland Clinic certified. So it's a course in nutrition, a very in-depth course. It's a course in kinesiology, and then a course in what we call embracing change, which is kind of the motivating, the psychology behind change.
Which is really important.
Which
actually.
is really important. And so all of the clubs that offer Curves Complete have to have at least one Cleveland Clinic certified coach. Most of them have most of their employees being Cleveland Clinic certified. So that means that when somebody comes and signs up for our Curves Complete program, they're going to have one-on-one coaching on a weekly basis with a certified coach. And as you know, the Cleveland Clinic is, a top-notch medical facility in the United States.
And if they're endorsed, if you're affiliated with them, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Does Curves experience what I'm sure a lot of the other places do, early part of the year resolution, people coming in and deciding that, it's time, right after the first part of their resolution? You
do have some of those people coming in. I'm not going to say you don't. What we do when people come in is we sit down and we do a fitness assessment with them, so we help them see where they are, help them set some goals, and help them set deadlines for those goals. And then we monitor those goals. On Curves Complete, we monitor them on a weekly basis. So they're having that check-in point on a weekly basis. And then our fitness members, because after you've been on Curves Complete and you've gotten to where you want to be, then you're a fitness member, or we call it a success member now. We monitor those still on a monthly basis. And so we find that people are able to stick with the program much better because they have that one-on-one reporting. Plus, then with our Curves Complete, we also are building what we call a tribe, that community of women helping others to be able to go through the struggles together. So on our program, you have the online portion. On our online portion, you have your meal planning. It's very easy to change. It'll print out recipes. It'll print out your grocery list. You can check it on your iPhone or on your Droid, you know, your smartphone. You can, you know, take it to the store, know what you're going to be buying.
If you have an app for your phone, then you know you're a progressive company moving in the right direction.
Well, it's
you know?
even kind of better than an app. It's a mobile part of it. And so you don't even have to download an app for it. So
Okay.
it makes it really, really convenient. If, say, you wake up in the morning and it's a cold morning and you were going to have a cold breakfast, but you're like, oh my goodness, it's too cold, I want a hot breakfast, you can just hit your little old mobile device and figure out, oh, I'm going to change it, I'm going to have this warm breakfast, and the recipe will pop right up. So you can easily make changes, just simple.
You know how you were mentioning before about how you use the card to scan and it kind of tells you how you're doing, and if you need to it needs to kind of motivate you to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Well, from what I understand, if you know, are out and you don't visit a Curves for a certain period of time, you'll even get the call going, hey, we're missing you, where are you? It's not that you're pestering them, but you know, it's sort of just a little bit, hey, you know, you haven't come in for a little while, you know, what's going on? You know?
Right. We do that routinely. We call it our MIA calls, missing in attendance or action, whichever way you want to look at it. But we know that, you know, women get busy, they're taking care of everybody else, they fall down on their totem pole, and sometimes we just need to call them and say, hey, we miss you, and can we help you get back in here? Can we set up a personal coaching session for you or whatever? But we want them in our facility, because we know that if you're not strength training, within 48 hours you start losing a little bit of muscle. So, you know, we really love to have them doing strength training 3 times a week. 2 times a week is better than not, but we really try and encourage at least 3.
Do you have people that are so motivated that they're in almost every day?
I have people that are in 6 days a week.
No
yes,
kidding, right? And
yes.
so they'll take a day off at least, right?
Right.
Now, you are an actual Curves owner, correct?
I am.
You have how many locations?
I currently have 2, one in Massachusetts and one here in Connecticut.
And you've had even more in the
I've
past,
owned
right?
5 and I've sold 3.
Okay. So being a Curves owner, what's it like? I mean, it's your life, basically. You know, I mean, it's part of it's ingrained in you. Right?
It is. It is. You have to be really passionate about helping women, passionate about health and wellness. I think it's very exciting. I've always been in the health and wellness field. I was a nutritionist. I've been with a wellness program in the Midwest with a hospital before I moved to New England. So you definitely have to be passionate and understanding and caring. But it's great because we know that you can make such a difference in your life and in how you live your life if you take a little bit of responsibility for improving that lifestyle. And it's not about you have to be right or wrong or good or bad. It's about learning how to get that balance in your life. And so we do talk about balance as far as food choices. There's no bad foods because all foods can be used in moderation. But it's really important that people realize that you're not who you are as a person isn't normally determined by exactly what you choose to eat. If you eat chips, that doesn't make you bad. If you eat chocolate, that doesn't make you bad. We just want to help you learn how do you do that, you know?
And I think people are learning more and more now that it's really a lifestyle change to be successful at it, because there's a lot of people that will decide they want to lose weight or eat healthier. And so they'll do it, but not realizing that they think just doing that for a little while, then they see some results, but then a lot of times, as you know, it comes back, they put it back on because they haven't made the lifestyle change, right?
Well, 2 reasons. Maybe because they didn't make the lifestyle change, or maybe because what they did, they were losing lean muscle along with the weight. And that's a big thing. I mean, if you lose, say, 20 pounds and 30% of that is lean muscle, you really just lost about 7 pounds of muscle. So you're slowing your metabolism down.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of our program, and that's what the Cleveland Clinic saw in our program, is that when you're losing weight with the Curves Complete system, you're losing pretty much fat weight. Almost most of it's going to be fat weight. Very little of it is going to be lean muscle. And so the results are going to be that you're going to have a higher metabolism when you get to where you want to be. Plus, we have a phase 3 component of our program, which helps you boost your metabolism up even further. Because we know if we can teach a person how to get better, healthy choices made as they're eating, if you get to where you want to be, you set the goal that, okay, I'm only going to flux within 2 to 3 pounds of my ideal weight. So if my ideal weight was, say, 130, I would let myself go up to 132 or 133, but I'm not going to go past that. So if you get on a scale, you know, every day, every other day, the day that the scale goes up 2 to 3 pounds, you get on our phase 1, which is more restricted but very well balanced. And so within 2 to 3 days, you're going to drop those 2 to 3 pounds. So if we can teach people how to never gain more than they can lose in 2 to 3 days, they're going to be able to stay at that weight. One of our key things too is snacks, because it's been proven many different places that you really should be eating about every 3 to 4 hours. It keeps your metabolism pretty much on the even keel. But a lot of people don't understand what a snack should be. And a snack really needs to be a balance of some protein, some carb, and some fat. And so if you're just picking a carb, it's not going to do the same. It's going to spike your need for insulin, and so it's going to set off a whole lot of, things. You'll be hungrier quicker in that. But if you have a snack that has a little bit of protein, a little bit of carb, maybe a little bit of fat, now you've got that balance going, and that's going to stick with you longer. So we encourage everybody to be doing 3 meals and 2 snacks a day.
See, and now this is all part of the complete part of Curves, where it's not just the exercising part, it's the nutrition part of it as well, which again goes together, goes hand in hand.
Correct. And then if we can help that person be able to see, all right, now when I'm really stressed, what else can I do besides grab for food?
Comfort food.
Yeah, comfort food. Or if I'm going to grab for food, can I make it something that's a very healthy choice? Also, we know that women need to drink water. And a lot of times people start to snack not because they're really hungry, but a lot of times it can even be such as, they're thirsty, they need the water. And when women and men too start to realize that need to replenish their water, they'll find that it's not that it's going to camouflage you and keep you from being hungry. I mean, some people think that that's the case, and that's not really it.
I'll fill up on water and I won't be as hungry.
Yeah, right. That's not what the deal is. But it helps get a better balance in your system, and that's what you want, is a balance going in your system.
How about dealing with the holidays? Because that's always a time when people pack it on and pack it in, when they're enjoying the very rich and unhealthy foods and fatty foods, and delicious foods.
But there's a lot of ways that you can learn to, if you're doing the cooking yourself, make them with a little less calories, a little less fat. There's a lot of substitutions today that you can do for that. But also learning to realize the portions. Yep. And also, are you really eating? Because people will go to a holiday party and they stand by the table, and if you ask them at the end of the night what did they eat, they'll say, oh, I didn't eat that much. But if you sat there and counted what they ate, they probably ate a lot, because you do that unconscious eating.
And all those calories add up, too.
That's right. And then people will take and not eat the whole day because, I'm going to this party. So they go starved.
Yeah, and then your metabolism is all over the place, too.
So we find that most women do really quite well getting through the holidays because they're more focused.
We were talking about you as a Curves owner, but what about your role as area director? It's sort of a regional role. Let's talk about that a little bit, and what you do.
Well, basically I work with all the owners in my region, and I'm just helping them, like recently it's been just doing simple things like making sure everybody's gotten their Cleveland Clinic certifications. We're now doing a lot of standardization, so we're standardizing our paint palettes and that sort of thing. but working with the owners to just help them in whatever way I can. It can be just simple things like, you know, the paint palettes and that.
Yeah.
Or it can be much bigger things like, you know, they have questions, how should I deal with this person or whatever. So I'm there for them.
That's good. Speaking of questions, if somebody has questions about curves in general, I guess the best thing for them to do is go to the website and learn more. They can find out, you know, curves that's close by where they are. So what's the website?
Curves.com.
Real simple.
Real simple.
All right, and again, you can glean down to a place close to you. Kathy Frost, the area director, and that's a lot of states in that area, by the way, that you represent.
That is.
Representing Curves. Thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us for another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. We will see you next time. Take care.